Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to the Conflict Zone YouTube channel. We bring you today's updates from the Kopans direction, where Russian forces have undertaken significant adjustments to their plans after facing disastrous operations in the Sinfa area. Launching a massive attack from a completely opposite side, Russian forces initially breached the first line of defense. However, they failed to achieve their objective, which aimed at undercutting and establishing control over Klia. As a result, both Ukrainian and Russian sources now report a resumption of positional fighting in the Sinfa vicinity. According to various reports, Ukrainians maintain at least two major defensive belts in the region, one around Sin Kfka, holding the line for months, and another slightly to the southeast around P Pavka. Numerous analysts have raised a critical question regarding the persistence of Russian forces in employing the same tactics on this attack vector for almost a year, resulting in advances estimated at only a few hundred meters. Exploring alternative directions for advancement becomes imperative when examining the topographic map. The region currently under Russian control is effectively blocked to the west by a double natural barrier, comprising the Osul River and the notably elevated grounds adjacent to it, extending up to the border with Russia. While a direct route from the forest in Kopans is feasible, it comes with its own set of drawbacks. The primary limitation is its proximity to local heights, making Russian attacks susceptible to relatively easy neutralization. Conversely, an eastern advance involves traversing open field areas densely mined for heightened danger. Moreover, progress from this direction invites counterattacks from the two existing defensive belts. Considering these geographical factors, Russia's most viable option appears to be moving out from the forest and securing control over Sin Kfka. In addition, controlling a strategic point outside the forest is crucial for Russian forces to organize larger attacks effectively, despite their existing control over a substantial portion of the forest. A mechanized advance through the forest remains complex as long as Sinfa remains in Ukrainian hands, given the vigilant guard maintained from there. Recognizing the tactical importance of this strong point, Russians plan to use it as a launching pad for advancing to the city through the corridor between the forest and the second defensive belt. Hence, Russians comprehend its significance as the necessary next step in their progression from the forest to the city. Furthermore, a notable lack of adaptation within the Russian army persists, echoing patterns seen throughout this war. Their strategy in the area has been limited to frontal attacks from the forest towards Sinfa, with minimal variations. Recently, combat footage captured unsuccessful frontal assaults on Sin Kfka, garnering widespread media attention. Russian columns faced complete destruction as close air reconnaissance surveillance allowed Ukrainians to ambush the attackers, employing artillery, anti-tank weapons, and FPV drones during their retreat. Encounters with dense minefields further hindered their progress. Even prominent Russian military analysts have strongly criticized the lack of adaptability and the absence of plans for reassessment in light of repeated failures. Moreover, apart from the frontal assaults, various Ukrainian sources have reported the utilization of Wagner tactics and Storm Z battalions by Russian forces in the region. In this tactical approach, convict assault groups are deployed forward, providing cover for the establishment of an island defense just behind them. This strategy allows for a designated retreat point and facilitates the transport of ammunition. The persistence of both repetitive frontal attacks and the implementation of Wagner tactics suggests that the Russian commander might have opted to amass incremental gains over months, even if it entails significant losses in terms of equipment and personnel. Hence, the combination of geographical constraints, the strategic significance of Sin Kfka as a pivotal step toward reaching Kopans, and the inflexible approach of Russian commanders has resulted in a persistent pattern of failures in this region for several months. Nevertheless, two perspectives could be considered from the Russian standpoint. Firstly, recent videos highlight heavy snowfall and worsening weather conditions in the area. The Russian forces might have sought to capitalize on this adverse weather, which can impede the effective use of surveillance and attack drones. this could potentially create an imbalance in the battle dynamics due to occasional drone shortages on the Ukrainian side. Secondly, Russia faces a limited timeframe of approximately 1 month before the onset of spring rains and thaw, leading to notorious mudslides that could completely halt mechanized assault attempts. The Russian command appears to be intensifying its efforts in the weeks ahead, making a last-ditch attempt to achieve a breakthrough before unfavorable weather conditions impede further progress. In summary, the Russian command has unequivocally identified Sin Kfka as their primary objective and is resolute in pursuing their strategy regardless of the incurred costs. Moving forward, there may be an endeavor to gain control over the entire forest, utilizing the possibility of launching attacks from multiple directions simultaneously. Once this strategic point is secured, the plan could involve advancing towards the city through the corridor positioned between the forest and the second defensive belt. However, considering the latest developments in the southern front, it remains plausible that Russian forces are strategically aiming to compel Ukrainians to shift more troops to this particular region.